Hello, Global Gladiators. We're back again with Street Masters Rise of the Kingdom. Today we're looking at stages. The one we're going to look at comes from the core box, and it is Cashed Out. This stage takes place in a casino that's under siege. You could kind of think of it as if they were looking for a code or trying to find somebody that would give them access to the back vault, and they're going table to table harassing people. And if they find whoever they're looking for by flipping all the objective tokens, then they win, you lose. In the middle of all of it, you have these frightened gamblers that you have to somehow get out safely. You do this by giving them some defense tokens and running them outside to the doors. This can be a pretty fun stage. There's a little bit of gambling for yourself involved. And it can also be a very tough one if you're not able to move around the stage fast enough to flip those tokens back to their inactive side. Let's take a look at our stage setup cards. From here we can see that we're going to be having the inactive objective tokens out on the board from the beginning, and we're going to need stage conditions for the house and one copy for each fighter of Frightened Gambler. The back of the stage rules has an activate, which means we're going to need to put this card directly into the stage play area. It also has an interact, which has something regarding discarding power from the house to indicate what could possibly be one of our best strategies. We need to be able to discard power to keep this mission going. Requiring an interact to discard power, that makes us also look into which fighters we should be using. We're going to have to use our action abilities in order to interact, so we're going to need a character that can either duplicate what we would otherwise do during an action using some other ability, or can offer some other way of preventing those objective tokens from getting flipped so we don't have to do it as often. Axel would be a great choice for this mission, but because he's in the expansion, I'm going to try to keep it to characters in the core box. I like using Natalia and Megan, so I'm going to put them on the board along with the loot tokens and the inactive objective tokens, so you can see how the board should be set up before you start. Next, we're going to go find the house and the Frightened Gambler. Those need to go into play in their respective areas as described on the stage card. We're going to look at those a little more in depth right now. The house sets up a timer, so this stage won't go on infinitum. The Frightened Gambler allows you to pull off some power at the expense of using defense tokens and taking them outside. The timer you can kind of think of as the minions are harassing the people that are in the establishment. You can think of it as maybe someone has a key. You can think of it as there's some secret code. You can think of it as they're collecting money. For whatever reason, they're going to go from gambling table to gambling table and flip these objective tokens. And once that happens, then they get closer to what it is that they want. That's the mulligan of this stage. The Frightened Gamblers, you start with one, but if you can get 3 defense tokens while you're still close to the outside, you can peel them off pretty quickly and they go into the stage deck, which means you're going to get several more as the mission continues. But at the second one you would pull, you can put that on any fighter, which means you can stack that onto the fighter that you think would get the most defense tokens, or a fighter that is not your tank that you can keep towards the outside. Because the house receives its power from active objective tokens, the control of where the boss or the pit boss is staying or moving becomes the most important thing for you to focus on for at least one fighter. If they stay engaged with the boss and they can stand toe to toe with them, then they won't move out of engagement. The standard minions do not flip the objective tokens, so they'll still move around wherever you're at. The boss is the one who's going to be moving around to whatever is closest to him, which means that that purple objective token it's just going to get taken out within the first round and your timer is going to start. You probably can hold him if you can sprint in. This tactic is only going to work for a round or two because they're going to be taking a lot of hits. You might be able to sprint, you might be able to do other things. If you let this go too far, more than a couple rounds, you're going to be in a world of hurt. This stage especially benefits from having more fighters play. So there's only 2 fighters here for this map, just for example purposes, so that the screen remains fairly clean. But you may want to think about having 3 or 4 fighters here. We mentioned that the pit boss and the boss are the only ones that can activate the tokens. Let's look at the pit boss card. The card allows you to pick whatever minion you want to be the pit boss. You probably want someone maybe like Wanbo that can only move 1 if you want it to be easier for yourself. Or you could pick someone who can move 4 or 5 and make it really difficult on yourself. You can adjust things that way. There's only 1 card of pit boss in the deck, so you're only going to have at most 2 vectors that are flipping the objective tokens and running down the clock faster. This uses an attach to the minion card. We haven't looked at anything in my videos yet about attaching cards. This basically means slide this card underneath so that you can still see the activate, and whenever the minion does something, there's also going to be an effect on them. Sometimes they can be additional damage or reduction of damage, or in this case, affecting the stage. Hopefully in this example, Natalya would have gotten Commando and Megan would have gotten Barrier of Will. And between the 2 of them, they could have managed to get Megan the 3 defense tokens she would need to get rid of her copy of Frightened Gamblers. This is going to be a very, very challenging map for me to have only these 2. Hopefully you'll have a better selection of fighters or find things that you like about the stage. One thing I particularly like about the stage is the gambling you can do with your own cards. And that's on this card. Blind Bet allows you to try to get a really clutch card. Maybe you're low on tactics, maybe you need specifically an attack like Natalya would in some of her cards, or there's an ability you really are looking for, maybe to heal in part of your fighter decks that you're looking for. If you've got more than 1 active objective token out there, then call it out. And hopefully after you revealed some cards, you'll get it. The only downside is you might have to put those cards in your discard pile. For someone like Natalya, that could be a huge boost since she powers up from her discard pile. So that's it for this episode. You can decide how you're going to control the boss. Do you want to do it through engagement? Do you just want to run behind him and try to flip the tokens after he gets there? The strategies are up to you. The fighters are many. There are over 1.3 million options for every single stage. Have a blast. Try some different allies. Maybe even try some rivals if this isn't hard enough for you. And let me know if you have any comments, questions, suggestions in the comments. Make sure to check out the Street Masters Fan Facebook page. I'm not affiliated with it, but the people that are running it are doing a spectacular job of keeping up with everyone and their questions and helping people out. So go ahead, join the community, and have a good one.